for the episode. So welcome everybody. I see some people logging into the stream on Twitch. Welcome. Say hello to the stream chat if you will. Today's episode will be a doozy one. We have one of the best European Renju players and Gomoku players joining the session podcast today. Mr. Aivo, welcome.
Welcome. No, I'm sorry. Welcome. Thanks, Jussi, for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Aivo is a good old friend of mine. We were just talking on the pre-show chat and discussion that we met back in 2003 summertime already, and we had both started the game back then. And I think we go back almost 20 years now, and I definitely consider you as a personal friend and game-wise a mentor, of course. When we've been playing the same tournaments, and I have had some preparation issues, wanted to see, what do you think? Should I prepare for my games or something? I would look up to you, and I have been following your career and your career very closely over the years, and I think initially you started in a very tough crowd, competing with other Estonians, but the world best players in Europe, and internationally, and I think it was a rough road because you couldn't get really the big wins immediately, right?
I would say, yeah, it was quite tough because the others started like Tune started when he was 7.
Yeah.
I think Johan was 10 when he started. Timo started also like around that time, like when he was 10 or something. And Andri started a few years earlier than me, or like 2001 or something.
Yeah.
Or 2000. I'm not sure exactly, but it was at first, but the competition was really tough for me, like in the sense that I could only look up to those guys that I just mentioned, and I could maybe only dream about beating them in a real competition. But there were like other guys as well, like Sander, Mick, and Peter, who had started maybe a year earlier or something like that. And slowly but surely, I started winning against those guys, and then I think there was some qualification for the World Championship. It was for the World Championship 2003, and during the first round, it was only for like beginners, but for some reason Andri and Timo wanted to play there as well. And I got really lucky against Timo that he didn't find his sure win. And I won against him. So that was my first win against one of those stronger players.
Yeah. What year was this?
2003, early 2003.
Ah, good. Nice.
So yeah, I started in 2002 September, but it means that I just went to the practice, and I really still remember my first practice that Ants has a system that if you cannot beat him with 1 stone, you add one more, and so on.
Mm.
So I played against first I played against Ants 5 or 6 stones. Of course, you cannot put 5 in a row or make 2 trees at the same time. But you can just put random 5 stones, like make many pairs, but I still managed to lose. So at first I didn't get the hang of the game at all. And I played with Timo almost the same. and I can only imagine how boring it must have been for him to play with such a beginner.
Yeah, Samuli is commenting on the chat. 2003 was first Helsinki Open 2 in September, right? Yes, in a sense that the Finnish Renju Federation was formed that year, and we started hosting Helsinki Opens. But Ants had already run these tournaments in Finland, calling them Helsinki Opens even before that. But the core group formed then officially into Finnish Renju Federation. Marko Pellikka, I think Marko had been organizing and playing some of the Helsinki Open tournaments before 2003, I suppose.
Yeah, I remember. I think I joined this 2003 Helsinki Open.
Yes.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, then I joined in 2002 as well. That was my first tournament. But I played Komoko because I was too much of a beginner back then.
Yeah. So let me open back the introductory slide. There are so many topics I would like to cover relating to this. I would like to discuss later on your achievements tournament wise, as well as your mentors and biggest rivals. You mentioned Ants. I suppose he is one of the mentors and teachers for sure. Any words on that?
Yeah, well, I think Ans was my main trainer, of course. I wanted to learn theory, so at that point he was not reluctant, but that he has like a philosophy that you should learn how to play before you get to know the theory or something. So instead of Ants, Tunet helped me with theory, but Ants showed me some tactics and gave me a lot of lessons on how to play. And because I went to the practice quite regularly, like twice a week. And I also joined some smaller tournaments. It was like every month there was one at least. And of course, slowly but surely, I started progressing. I mean, I wouldn't say super fast, but I was already at 1 year, less than 1 year. I remember I got one done in the end of 2003. So I started in 2002 September, played my first bigger Renju tournament in 2002 Tallinn Open, and 1 year later I got one done.
Yeah. I think for myself it's similar progress, perhaps. I think time frame wise, advancing to the one dan level.
Okay. But yeah, when you were younger, it was always interesting to compare your rank to others and see where you can get with it. But even when I was a queue player, like a lower queue player, it was interesting for me just to like learn all the other players' ranks, what's their done or queue or whatever, and try to get better at the game. So that was one of the main motivators, I think, for me at least, to just like try to get better at the game, not only by like playing the game, but also like let me think a little bit. It was, yeah, I think also that there was Estonian rating and I wanted to get world rating. So I think there was some kind of tournament called the Estonian Cup. And I played against Pavel Wozniuk. He hadn't played for a few years, but before he was a really strong player. And I managed to win against him 3-0. So I got I had half a point before. It used to be like that you had to get 3.5 points for the world rating. So my first world rating was quite huge. It was like 2000 something. Because Pavel had quite a decent rating, and then I played against Ants for the Estonian Cup as well. So I got too big of a rating, at least for such a beginner as me.
Are you saying that the Estonian Cup is that the Estonian Championships?
No. It's Estonian Cup. You get all the players who want to play like preliminary, and then the highest players are decided by the pools. And it's like cup system, not like a championship tournament.
Okay.
You have to get 3 wins or 3 points to advance to the next round.
I see.
I don't remember those games anymore, but it was such a long time ago. So
right. So you ended up getting slowly better competing from 2002 onwards. You ended up getting really good somehow around 2006, 2008. So you won the European World Championships 2000
European,
Youth World Championships and European Championships at 2008, and then first place, of course, the Team World Championships. You were on the Estonian team here in Helsinki the same year.
Yeah. So it was my best year by far so far, but it's maybe what makes the achievement even more interesting or amazing is that I didn't lose a game in all of those 3 tournaments.
Wow, that is amazing. Which table did you play for Estonia team?
Second table.
Wow.
So I played against Woody. That was my only draw of the tournament. No, actually I had 2 draws, and all the other games where I won.
Yeah. I guess we played the second table as well. So
yeah, we played in the last round.
I must have been super exhausted being an organizer and playing as well the second table. That wasn't pretty at all. And a couple years before that, 2006, you got first place on Baltic League and Karepa Open as well. Slightly smaller events, but still notable. And
I mean, 2006, I would say, was the year that I was getting good, because I reached, when I won the Estonian Championship for the first time in 2006 as well, I got my rating to 2,500 for the first time. So that's quite a high rating. Right now it would be like top 15 or something like that.
Right.
At that time it was already like top 20, I think. Something like that.
Nice. So
yeah.
So what do you think? Who are the biggest rivals? Who do you look back almost 20 years now? Who are the people? Who are the players? And why? Let me pour a question like this.
Okay, that's maybe a really difficult question to me, because right now, from Estonians, well, I would like to say Tunet, but yeah, has not really played in recent years. But from the world players, it's really hard to say because yeah, maybe it's like I'm somewhere torn between a few players, like, but these players are of course stronger than me.
Yeah,
Right now.
don't be afraid of do some name dropping, man.
Yeah, I think.
you're very niche.
Yeah, well, I played only one match in my life, and that was against Sao Tong. I was lucky to beat him. It was in early 2009. But now he's like the two-time world champion, reigning world champion. He's one of the best players in the world, and it's like, yeah, well, our last game was a draw, so before that I lost a few ones, but overall, I think we used to play quite similar style, the fencing-minded style, and there are a lot of players like that. Well, like Nakamura, for example. But at the same time, I think I've taken at some point I took a different approach to my game. I started playing more with black and trying to attack and more control the position more. So in that sense, I would also say that Shushkovi's name, I would say that is a rival of me because we have played a lot of offline matches, and yeah, some of them are being quite quite hard-fought battles. And we are for many years, for some years right now, we have competed on the Correspondence World Championship as well.
Yes, and that's I think one of the key topics today. At least I'm interested to hear anything and everything you have to say about the Correspondence World Championships and Correspondence way to play offline Renju and perhaps Komoku. And you won last year's Correspondence World Championship title. Congrats again of that.
Thank you.
That is massive, and you haven't listed that on your RenjuNet profile. So,
that's because I've yet to update it. Maybe I should put it there because Correspondence it's totally different from like real life games because it just at least to me it means that one thing is that you can use all the help you can get. Right, not maybe all of it, but it's just like you can use databases, you can use files, you can use all the programs that come to your mind, and it's so much different from the real game because you have only you and you yourself and I to help you in your games.
Yeah,
pretty much. But at the same time, correspondence takes a lot of time because. Yeah, you cannot really make any mistakes. Already in the opening phase, if you like give your opponent like advantage too big for an advantage because of the time control, there's a good chance he will find the win.
Yes.
Thanks to the programs or some database help or whatever, or by analyzing the game itself.
I agree.
So it's quite time consuming actually. So every day you have to analyze like 1 or 2 hours of your games. Sometimes like to get the best results. And it's not like that you open the best program, put the position on the board and just choose the best option, because that's why if I had done that, then I would have lost quite a few games.
On top of that, what else is there? What could be approach? I understand if there are some trade secrets that you don't want to reveal for everybody, but maybe something.
I mean, you just need to have the best programs, right? Right now, last year there was a new program called Katakumo. It was
Okay.
first like a Go program, but then they made like a Renju and Komoku version of it. It is, in my opinion, it is by far the strongest program there is. But it has some little bugs right now that it cannot find VCF sometimes, and it can be like when the win is quite hard and really straightforward, then it might not find it. But for most of the positions, it is absolutely the best program there is, and you don't have to pay anything for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, perhaps we'll get the link of that to the Twitch chat as well as the YouTube recording later on.
I mean, the thing with Katago is that you need a really powerful computer for it. Like, it's not only the computer. If you want to run it on laptop, then you need to have like a good graphics card. And if a desktop or laptop, I mean desktop computer, then you need also like a good graphics card. So that's even a bigger investment than just buying some kind of program for 50 euros. That's how much I paid for $50. I mean, that's much. That is how much I paid for Renju Solver.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I use a combination of programs. Mostly I use Katago with combination of Renju Solver to look how if the moves are actually good by checking everything. And I try to find, of course, there is another program called Embryo that was in 2019. It is like second best in my opinion. The issue with Embryo is sometimes it plays too straightforward, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So in that sense, Katago is better because it can also play in positional style. Because it used to be that the main issue with the programs, all of them, that they're good at finding a straight win or VCF or VCT, but when it comes to positional play, they are kind of helpless.
Right.
So, but correspondence is really interesting for me because I started using programs only in late 2007 or early 2008. I had joined some tournaments before in correspondence when I was younger, but I didn't have much success there. So first time I got into the final in correspondence was in 2011. I was second then, but that was, don't want to take anything away from Palanova because she played a really good tournament. She was the first place that year, but I made a silly mistake against her in a game that I had two defenses. I thought that both of them were working, but I didn't check it carefully enough with Renju Solver, so I lost the game because of that. And I couldn't later I checked the other defense and I didn't prove white sure win there. So yeah, it took me a lot of time to get this title finally. So I'm quite happy about that.
Yes. How about any details on last year's correspondence? How would you describe it? How much time did you spend? At which point did you feel like, yeah, I've got this? Do you feel like
Okay.
you made some sacrifices with the time spent in order to win that?
Well, I was lucky that the second place player, Zhou Wei-Fu, known mainly as Xiao Xiao online, or I mean on correspondence, sent me the program Katago and helped me to install it. So yeah, he was second place, and our games were I won 2-0 against him, but he made a mistake in both of those games. So yeah, he was kind of unlucky in that sense that I just exploited exploited like weakness in the Kataga program in one of those games. And in the second game, he made a mistake that he followed Kataga too much. He otherwise the game would have been a draw. But yeah, that didn't change the result because I got 16.5 points out of 18. He got 14.5. So yeah, what he would have needed to do against me, he would have needed to win one game, and that in that case he would have been first place. But the whole tournament was quite exhausting because I had many interesting battles there. But I also got lucky because I had like 3 or 4 games where the position by now is sold as black queen. At the time, of course, I didn't know that, so I just played the position and I managed to get 3.5 points out of those 4 games. Now it would be like 0. So in that sense, yeah. What I'm trying to say is that the theory changes so fast that it's like if you look at the games from last World Championship, then from 2019, then you can take just a big garbage bin and throw it all there because theory-wise, those games are not worth much anymore.
Right, and the theory is changing along with the opening rule change.
Yeah, we can discuss it later, but I just want to say that Taraguchi 10 is much better than Saucer 8, but even then, there are not that many variants that are interesting and playable. At least that's how I see it, because
yeah, maybe that holds true, especially on the highest level. So you're 7 Dan now. That's pretty much 7 Dan in Estonian ranking rating. Ranking. That's really strong. That's well top. And if you're speaking of the analyzing power you have on offline and correspondence format, yeah. What I think that's a big topic, and I would like to hear your thoughts on the rule change and Renju opening rules. Anyways,
yeah.
Should we move there now, or is it jumping too much? Do you want to say something more on the offline?
Well, we can move there because I think correspondence is like it's really hard to say for me if I don't know what the others are using as their tools. It's really hard for me to compare our strength because it's not only time related and it's mostly program related. If I don't know what programs the other one is using or what kind of databases he or she has access to, then it's really hard to say like who in the end will win, because it's I try to find like some new ideas all the time for correspondence, what to play. But recently I started playing on I have over 7,000 games on Renju offline on more than 10 plus accounts. So on my main account, I have like 3,000 something Finnish games, I mean. And on the others, so it's like ranges from 100 to 600 or something like that. Altogether, over 7,000. That's quite a big number.
Do you use the random accounts for testing purposes or experimenting, or like I think Samuli mentioned on his episode that he sometimes get a little bit awkward when a new nickname shows up. He doesn't know if they're any good, and then they just vanishes. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
the synergy there. So if you can speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I at least I've never played like that. That if someone asks me who is this account, then I will say that's mine.
Yeah.
But of course, there are players who want to remain anonymous and never want to reveal who they are in real life.
That's some of you guys on the Twitch stream. I'm looking at you. Say who you are. Identify yourself.
But that's each to his own, I would say, because I can understand that point that they want to just practice against strong players and they want to remain anonymous, but then you cannot compete on the official tournaments at least, because there you have to reveal your full name and everything.
Yes. Another relating question to your point before, that everybody is kind of using the software and analyzing and every tool that they can, especially on the highest level. Do you know anybody, or do you have speculation anybody there doing moves without any tools? Do you know any player on the highest levels that is completely natural?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that even Nakamura uses some programs at least.
Nakamura is playing offline.
Yeah, he has played on Renju offline. His nickname is Alvano. But recently he hasn't played a few years. But yeah, me and Sushko, we invited him to. We had like 2 invitational tournaments when we gathered 10 players, and we had one of them was with Saucer 7, I think, and the other one was with Taraguchi 10. It was a really tough tournament, at least for me. I was only 5th place there. So yeah, the first 3 were Chinese players and 4th was Nakamura.
Nice. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
No, I just wanted to ask what I should talk about next.
Yeah. I would like to hear some words, if you may, on the Renju rule change. It has the discussion and planning has been ongoing for good part of 15-20 years, and I know that you've been close to it. I would like to hear. And then Samuli also wrote, interesting to hear of these programs, never heard of them, feel less bad about not achieving anything offline.
Yeah, I can help him out with those programs. Well, it's not like I should distribute to everyone. Here you are, here you go. But you should just ask me, like, if you know a better program to use.
So here's an idea. Maybe you could type a little bit on the Facebook community. It's just a tight-knit community. It's not everybody.
Yeah, I can do that, but yeah, okay. Let's talk some words about this rules discussion then.
Please.
So, okay, I wouldn't go back as many as 20 years, but I think that right now the situation is not ideal because Sorcerer 8, first of all, it's not good for beginners. It's really tough rule for beginners. And even mediocre players tend to struggle with it because you have to memorize a lot of fifth moves, like fourth moves as well. You have to basically, you don't know if the opponent, if you're the number one and you open T11 and the opponent just put some new fourth move to you and request like 7, 8 fifth moves and you don't know about it, then it's pretty much sure that you will lose the game. But let's say if the opponent you play it with Taraguchi 10, then it's much better because first of all you don't have to put an opening. Of course, your opponent can swap 5 times, but then you can at least put an opening or a variant that is well known to you and that you want to play. And in that case, your chances are much better. At least that's how I see it. But
I agree.
Yeah. So basically, what we are trying to do now, or what, because I'm responsible for the rules commission right now. I already sent my suggestion and plan to the central committee what to do. Well, first of all, we want to change to Taraguchi 10 as soon as possible. And maybe there will be like that for a few years, at least how I suggested that the other routes can stay, but in the end, we don't need them because Taraguchi 10 eventually is like the ideal rule. It's good for beginners, mediocre players, for the top level players, and that's it.
I agree.
So,
and it's something that it's very normal, and it is inherited structure wise from free Gomoku, I suppose, or at least traditional Gomoku that is starting from the center.
Yeah.
Do you know of Renju, swap to Renju as in concept? I'm sure you have any thoughts about that.
I mean, I played the Karapa rules. I just put 3 stones anywhere, and there's one swap, and that's it.
Yeah.
But swap to Renju, I haven't analyzed it that much. I have prepared a game with Super Taraguchi. Then I can
What is that?
explain about. That's like okay. Let me show you. Like it means that the first move is still in the center.
Yeah.
But usually the second move is in here. But you can. It means that the second move can be in 5 times 5. So it gives 3 new second moves.
Yeah.
So and third move is not in 5 times 5 anymore. That means that there's not 26 openings, but I think it was. So it can be something like it's 7 times 7 now. It can be something like this.
Yeah.
So it creates a lot of new variants, basically. So even the fourth move can be now in 9 times 9. So it means you can, because it used to be that with Taraguchi 10, the fourth move needs to be in 7 times 7. So you cannot play here, for example. So overall, it just creates a lot of new variants. But it's a bit crazy. So later on, I will show you one game that I played against a really strong correspondence player and what happened there.
Yeah, I agree. From a Renju player's perspective, even Gomoku, swap to Gomoku, it's it's crazy, but it can be exciting and exhilarating as well.
Yeah, but you have to think about the well, the right now the basics of the Renju rules is that every rule that we change, you should have still the old theory left.
Yeah.
But
But that would still be there. So you can start in the center if you choose to.
yeah, you can, but then you just I mean there are not so many equal three move positions. Like maybe there are in with Komoku, but it's hard to say what are the best options. Then I haven't analyzed it. I have to give it more thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the approach of just like letting go of the first move in the center is not very good in my opinion, because
Okay.
it creates too many variants for Renju, and then you have too much theory, man.
Is that a possibility? We discussed that with Zoli on the first session, and his clear opinion is that there is no such thing as too much theory. Like he even advocates a model where you can create your own theory and prove that theory and play exciting things. And if there is a leeway in the opening procedure where you can escape somebody's preparation, for example, swap to Gomoku does allow that always, or Taraguchi Renju always allows that. If you end up like creating the opening is a synergy between two players, but I think if you create as many different possibilities to create, if there is such thing as unlimited or infinite number of possible theories, I think that would be just good. Because if it's a limited number, then in the highest levels you will eventually exhaust that number to smaller and smaller and smaller playable variants.
Yeah, but in chess it's like that right now.
It is, and that's exactly why Soli says he doesn't prefer chess at all. Like for some, it might be exciting that you have to learn all the theory and then you have some playable variants. But I think that is a worth discussion, worth to look at on Swap to Renju as well. Now I totally understand the beauty of starting in the center, but it like those players who wishes to start in the center are free to do so when they are making their own openings. If somebody starts in the corner, then they have a chance to balance it out by making a swap too. And most of the corner openings are semi-safe anyways. It's your ability to escape the corner and use the space, and that would determine. I understand that it doesn't really sound Renju when you start in the corner and develop to the center and attack for the fight for the space.
I don't think that's an issue. That I'm talking about openings that you just put 3 stones far away from each other, and then it's really hard to find a good swap too.
Yeah, especially offline gaming, I can see that problem. I think live gaming and fast games, everybody makes mistakes, so it doesn't really matter. But offline, when you have to play perfect move from the start, yeah, it can be tricky to find the optimal ones.
I mean, offline, I'm not worried about it. It's like if you can help use programs to help yourself out, then it's not a big issue. But in real life, you can prepare so many tricky openings that if your opponent has not played it or doesn't have a good feel for swap 2, then it's pretty much over already from the 3 first stones. That's what I'm worried about. Because I prepared one opening with this 5-move pattern with this for today to show you our viewers what it looks like when it's like a really tricky 5 pattern opening with Super Taraguchi 10.
Yeah, we can see some analysis. What if you feel like this is a good spot to move there? We can do that already by all means.
Okay, is it? Let me see. Okay. Is it right now? Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't see no new moves. No. We can see the board.
It's first move in the center. Can you see that one? Okay, now here?
No.
Oh, that's strange. Maybe you. I opened another file, so maybe you. Let me see. Maybe I can just copy it from this file and put it.
You can open. Now we see the second move. Yeah.
No, it was from the first file, but.
Okay.
Let me see how it was.
I think if you have the database there already, you can adjust it, open it again, and we can readjust the table if need be.
Oh wait. Okay. I will just show you the file battle open.
Okay.
So can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think when you see such a thing for the first time?
That is random. That is really tough to play without preparation, I admit.
Yeah, but I think the beginner would take black because it sees that black has 3 pairs, but white has only 1 pair.
I agree, yes.
So I analyzed it. I thought it was more or less equal.
I-10? No? There is something. Okay.
Yeah, and now this line is long.
Yeah.
And now I create another 2 lines to control them. So basically, you only have 1 pair that is useful right now, but you cannot do anything with it. But black has a nice move to here, just to like make 2 pairs and close 1 pair of white.
Yeah.
So next move is quite logical, just 3 here. But yeah, you have to close it.
Can't you take black close to 4 first? Don't need to, because white doesn't want to go there.
Oh, let me check. I think black cannot do that because white doesn't win after that.
Okay.
Okay, now that was first I have to say that this was my game against Haukeni, more known as Win23 on Correspondence Games. He's a 2-time world champion in Correspondence, and now he's created a new game site called games.renjucafe.com, where the new tournament will be held this year. So I invite all correspondence gamers from both. Doesn't matter if you play Renju or you prefer more Kumoku, to play there, and maybe you can sign up even for the tournament. So now,
what's your impressions of Renju Cafe as a game site?
It's quite nice right now. There are not too many players, but there are much stronger players, in my opinion, than in Renju offline.
And that's an offline site.
For now, yeah, because if you want to have an online site, then you will need a bigger server or a better server for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I will continue because this is the only 11th move possible right now because you have to close it from here. Now white will go here, just take this point, and oh, let me check just in case. Yeah, that's correct. Now black only what he can do is start an attack. So let's say he closes safely from here, then I think black can take a good point just for like something like this. And white doesn't have much to do here anymore. Or maybe just another point. Let me check just in case.
Mm.
Oh no, I think that's correct, 15, yeah. Then the game is most certainly like going for black already. But he decided to close it from here. Like right now, black cannot do anything on this side anymore. So it can only hope to have some kind of miracle attack on the upper side.
That doesn't look like a miracle place. You have bunch of space and structure and lines.
Yeah,
If you,
but I can show you how it ended. Like this is the only right now I can show.
Yes.
Yeah, if this makes sense. Now here, that's kind of a tricky move.
It is.
It's now the best defense is here. 20. Okay, now let me check. Yeah, now 3. Need to close it from here. And now comes the tricky part. It's like I need to play here.
Wow. Why is that?
Yeah, now the only way is to close it, and now there's a threat. Yeah, and I think it was here that was the best defense. And now another move that is not so easy to find. Maybe is 3 to make more pairs for black. And yeah, and need to close it from down, from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now 3 here, because it creates, it closes this line for white. That's annoying. But otherwise will create a lot of problems for black. Now just close it. Now here and here. But at this point, I was sure that black doesn't have anything, like in the sense that I was just going for a draw. But for some reason, I came to check the game again next day, and I saw that I had won the game. It was really strange for me. Then I asked Hautini, like, why did you resign? I didn't find the win. He said, oh, I found the win. Well, and then I started searching for the win, but I didn't find it. I couldn't find it. I spent like more than 2 hours on it. Like maybe I was just tired, or I was using the wrong program. I just couldn't find it. In the end, I just asked him for the last idea. So yeah, you can see if I cannot find it from here, how difficult it will be in a real game to find any from such a position from the start.
That's
after
true.
14. So maybe I can show you how it went, how hardest variant is, like if I can remember it.
Can't see those moves.
Wait a second.
All right. So whilst Aivo is finding those moves, anybody has any comments or questions to Aivo, feel free to type them on the chat.
Okay, it's something like this. Now, black has a tree, as you can see, and
There's a cut there.
yeah, I know. So white has to play this four, and now play here. As you can see, it's still quite a troublesome position, because if black doesn't find a win, then it might as well end up losing the game.
That's pretty early to resign.
Yeah, he resigned very early. So that was the position where I just couldn't find the right idea. The right idea is now black will play here. So just to let me see how it went. It's still quite difficult to win, maybe.
Somebody is commenting, Win 23 was in my group when I started Correspondence World Championships at Renju offline. He got 17.5 points out of 18.
Yeah, he's very good. So yeah, that it is best to play here, 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 here. I mean, I'm just showing the win, just like, and now you have to. For some reason, I had it in my file that you have to play like this, and now it maybe becomes clearer that there is a win, because now there's black has so strong position here in the downside, in the bottom side. But yeah, as you can see, it's already reached move 61 and it's still not over yet.
Right, and this is what we need. I think this is playable. You don't know if what's gonna happen, and it's kind of in the open. It can be proven a win after 65 moves or 70 moves, but still interesting, and it's still, playable in that sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think there will be like, let's say that I have this. My approach to the game is that I want to play interesting and balanced variants, but then there will be a lot of players, I think, who will just choose the easier route and prepare a lot of like super hard Javas, where it's really hard to find balance, or there is none balance, like or even with putting 2 more stones, it's really hard to balance the position. So that's what I'm worried about.
I see. I am as well, but in the sense you can still disrupt it, whether that's Taraguchi 10 or that's swap 2. Like, you have to take responsibility on the turn when you can either put the stone or so basically that you can make the opening look like whatever you want to. The question is if there are too many openings, random openings, where it's basically impossible to put two stones to balance it or disrupt it. At least live games, I don't mind. Like if somebody prepares something, they might be bluffing or they might not be bluffing. They put 3 moves that look crazy. I might play black, I might play white. But if I feel like I don't know, and I feel like they have prepared all moves that looks like okay, playable from those 3 moves, then I can find some interesting 4th and 5th. And then most likely those moves are not something that they prepared. So then we're back at it again, you know. They can't really use their opening, their preparations for their advantage at that point anymore.
Well, like Sultan said, he doesn't only analyze quite a lot of trick openings. He also analyzes like optimal 4th and 5th swap 2s. So I think it's it's like if at least when I would have such an opening rule, I know that what I would do is like find some crazy 3-stone openings, and then analyze as much as possible the possible 4th and 5th move. But if they can how much that change the position, I would do that as well. So it's not only that I would prepare a tricky opening, but I would analyze as many possible swap 2 options as well. So,
but okay, all right. I get your point. I still feel confident that you can surprise a little bit. Like after 3, if the opening is seemingly crazy looking, then I think there are, like, at least I can find several ideas that are not maybe traditional, but look something interesting and somewhat balanced. But I don't know. I get your point. I personally, I would just like to see the swap to Renju at least give a fair chance of trying. You know, we'll see. But Taraguchi 10, definitely correct route, at least when it comes to the rule change and development of Renju for now.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I would say that even if it happens that there will be more draws in the tournament, I think right now Renju is totally fine, because I checked the last World Championship individual one, and there were 11 draws out of 66. So that's like 1/6. Every 6 game there's a draw. That's not much at all.
It's not that bad. What was the worst years?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked. I think it's almost the same always. Like not too many draws at all.
Even with the 11 years.
I can check right now, but
I would have thought intuitively that it must be more than every 6.
Only 7 draws.
Surprising. Vast majority of the games were still D11 back then.
I mean, there were some other variants as well, like D3 still played because it wasn't so deeply found that black is not good enough anymore.
Right. What do you think of D3 at the moment yourself?
I mean, you can still try to play it with 2 because there are so many fifth moves. But in the end, I think most of them are like advantage for white, or even a big advantage for white. So black is basically struggling for a draw with 2 at least, but with 1 it's better for black. So it's different in the sense that white is struggling for a draw pretty much.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the next topic or?
Yeah. For the list of questions and our preparations for this session, I would like to move on, just trying to get more clarification what you prefer as a player. You feel like you're more online player, live player, or offline player?
I mean, with the current situation, I'm definitely only an offline player right now because there are no live tournaments around here in Estonia,
Yes.
And it's hard to travel, and all that makes it difficult to play
But
live tournaments.
we'll get this COVID situation resolved anyways at some point.
Yeah, in that sense, I prefer live games to offline games in the sense that it's more interesting for me. It's just only like most of my offline games are like this, that I just know from the get-go where it's going pretty much. Like either if it's I'm gonna win, or it's a draw, or sometimes when I make a mistake, then I just lose.
Yeah.
But in the real game, it's much more difficult to predict what will happen.
So where do you see yourself as a player in the next few years or down the line, or within a broader sense of the community? What's your role? What's your ambitions? Where you want to see yourself in 5 years? That's a typical interview question.
Yeah, I think I just want to continue playing at a good level and get back to the A tournament in Renju and try to get at least once a good result, because so far I haven't succeeded in that.
You've
My
been
best
quite
place,
often like midways, right?
my best place is only 8, so
Okay.
it's 4 out of 4 times it's best is 8, so it's not very good in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, you deserve better, man. You
Yeah,
deserve better. Yeah.
it's just like it's like running 2 marathons, because you only way for me to get to the final right now is to play the qualification. That's like 7 games in 3 days, and then you have 1 day off, and then you get another, like a double marathon, because it's 11 games in 7 days. That's quite a lot.
I get that. But how about qualifying if Estonia, when Estonia next time organizes the event?
Well, we just organized the last one, so it won't be, I hope it won't be Estonia, because in that case, it would be like Estonia would have like a place in the 81 place. But it's more interesting to play QT to me, to just like, well, I played QT and got the best result so far in QT. I won the last QT, I got 6 points out of 7. But after that, I struggled in the final because I was a bit tired already from. It just takes a lot out of you, the whole tournament, I think.
Well, it does, and one marathon normally exhausts whoever. So Not
Yeah,
easy. Not easy to play 2 tournaments back to back when it's the world highest level.
yeah. But it's hard to change the system right now because maybe it's almost the only solution for now. But let's see in the future. Maybe if there are more countries will join, the game gets more popular. There will be like better solutions out for the tournament. Because me, at least, it doesn't make any sense that you only know the five opponents of your only like 1 day before the tournament that you need to prepare for. It's really hard to find time to prepare. And usually in chess, it's like that you have the candidates tournament or whatever they call it, like at the beginning of the year or something, and then the world champion, and the winner plays the world champion for the title in the end of the year or something like that. So there's like at least 6 months to prepare.
I think that would be fair. That would be fair, and it wouldn't, in my opinion, wouldn't have to be the same country even.
Yeah,
organizing
exactly.
that thing. So it could be like when it's the World Championship year, then you could have in one tournament, big tournament, qualifying tournament as a separate event 6 months before, and then
Yeah, exactly.
then the final main event. And that's what they did in poker as well. They changed the final table of World Series of Poker
Yeah, I know about.
November or October, at the end of October, calling it November 9 because 9 people are the final table, generally speaking 10. But anyways, that was the reason, I think, with the biggest poker tournament, annual poker tournament, so that you have to play the whole series in Vegas during the summertime when it's super hot and exhausting. And once at the very end, you still have to push, what is it, 4 days or 5 days, the final table, at least 3 days. Then, yeah.
Yeah, that's also like even if it's if the tournament like I failed in 2017, it was quite it was in Taiwan. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying that the weather was really hot outside, but in the inside it was quite cold with the air conditioner and everything was working on non-stop. So it was really easy to get sick. And yeah, I'm not blaming my bad result on that, but I'm just saying that if it's like in a country like Taiwan or China or Japan, it's gonna be even tougher for European players to get to the final because the weather is like unbearable.
Yeah. And in those countries, even if it's a hot season, all the air conditioning, well, the air conditioning in Asia. So
Yeah.
it's super tough. And it's been discussed on these sessions earlier on. Zoli mentioned that he gets exhausted during big events, and sometimes he falls ill as well. So if the World Championship final would be played on a separate occasion than the qualifying, it would definitely be easier, at least for qualifiers.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to pretty much, that it's the current system is not like 100% ideal for all the players.
So we talked a little bit there about Asia. I think that's a bridge. I would like to hear some stories about Asia, whatever comes to your mind. We didn't prepare this, but I know that you're a fan of Asia. You've been traveling to Asia with Renju, and you know some Mandarin, right? Maybe some other languages. Speak to
I've
whatever you feel like.
I've learned Mandarin for quite some time. Like I learned in university, then I lived in China for 1 year studying it, and I went back to the university and studied some more. I can still speak more or less okay, but it just like depends on the topic pretty much how much I can cover it.
Well,
But I've also
yeah.
studied Japanese for 2 years, but that's not in very good shape right now because I don't have anyone to practice it with.
Yeah.
Actually, I also tried to learn some Korean as well, but that's mostly gone because with 1 year, it was my like in university. In 1 year, I studied Korean at the same time and Japanese at the same time, so it was quite
That's
tough.
tough. Yeah. I know that with Mandarin and Thai language, my brain gets all mushed up if I do those the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But about maybe a good story is or a story about Asia is that I didn't mention it before, but and it's not on this results page as well. But in 2008, I got third place in Chinese Championship as well. So that was quite a different tournament for me because I didn't know what to expect at all. I know only a few good strong Chinese players like Cao Dong and Wu Di. But Cao Dong, before the tournament, he told me that there are many strong players who have made many new preparations, but the tournament was still with RRF rules, so I didn't know what to expect. And there was like a really strange game I had. I even covered it for Renju World some years ago, or many years ago. But I think it was quite a strong player that I played with, and the variant was some very strange T11 variant. It was I don't even remember it right now, but I can tell the story was something like that. I made a mistake in the sense that I played a 4, and my opponent was so happy about it that he immediately made a move, but he missed my 4. So
Ouch.
but no, what happened next is the craziest thing that I just made a move myself. Like I didn't understand what was going on. He didn't close my 4, and I just closed his 3 pretty much. And that's a real story. But
Yeah.
then of course he closed my 4, but luckily for me I had a win in
The
one of
other
the
way. Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that was, I mean, if it would happen in World Championship, it would be even a bigger story. But it was Chinese Championship. So in the end, I was pretty lucky to get third place, but because I was not playing the best of games, but yeah, I somehow managed to get third place. So I left a few like players who are known to you at least. It's like Woody, I think he got sixth place.
Mm.
Southon was 14th.
Mm.
And Chi Guan, who later became the world champion, he was like something like I might be mistaken, but he was like 20th place. So it was just yeah, it's kind
That's
of
yeah.
it's really tough tournament because you have to play there were two groups, A and B, and then only top 4 of each group will get quarterfinals. I managed to get second place in my group. In the last game of in my group, I managed to win against the eventual winner, Mei Fun, and then I played quarterfinals with Lu Hai. He was a young, strong player even back then. Like it's maybe he's not so well known to European players, but he has got also quite good achievements. So the game was really tough because I played I5 and he opened or maybe I can show you the start at least. He played this fourth move.
Yeah.
So now it's known that this is sure win and this is the second best. I played these two moves, but I had no idea what to do. So I messed something up in the opening stage, and I defended and defended. At some point, he had a win. He missed it, but it was still strong for white, so he just attacking. It maybe ended as a draw in the 90s or 100 move or something like that. But because I was second in my group and he was third in group, so it was a draw, and so I got to the semi-final because of that. So that's make it even more crazy that even if you're like get a draw in the quarterfinal, then there's nothing for you to do if you are the lower rank. So that's a pretty interesting tournament format, in my opinion, at least.
The China as in Renju and Gomoku country, it's just numbers of players wise, it's really incomprehensible, and many of them can't really travel abroad so often. So the competition there has been and is really awesome, and I feel very welcomed whenever I travel to China with Renju and meet some old friends. But seeing how they compete in their internal Chinese championships and their team tournaments, it's really serious stuff. It's much more serious, in my opinion, than anything we are doing in Europe. Even
exactly.
And inside the China. So you was that third place, and which year was that?
Third. It was also 2008.
2008. That is great accomplishment. What do you think? What do you feel? I really like this name dropping because these guys cannot really defend themselves. So just feel free to drop any names on the video, but like really legends, the names you mentioned. Many of them I know personally, some of them I've met, some of them I haven't met before, but I've traveled in China for total for maybe 7 or 8 months altogether. So met many players and visited some events, but I think I'm just wondering, like, how can we add that drive and that, like, the man hours China is putting into Gomoku and Renju outweighs many times what we are doing here. And world is a big place, right? So I think and Chinese market is not insignificant market wise, like money wise. I think things are happening in China, and if we don't develop our games and our communities, we're missing out here in Europe. And
exactly.
If there's somebody in the States listening to this podcast in 5 years, we'll see if this game gets big in the States as well, and bigger masses. But I think in China things are moving, and technology is evolving, giving great platforms, both online playing and live playing, and they're taking it serious as well. Like, they have professional teachers, they have professional organizers all over the country. They have nice clubs, and the tournaments are sponsored, so the money is already there.
Yeah.
So I think we have some catching up to do, and what I'm thinking is I'd really like to see some initiatives here in Europe as well to make it more business-like and get sponsorships and get some money in to maybe give some money for the winners in tournaments and making some visibility for the game. in broader sense. So in China, you can see Wuziqi. Did I pronunciate it good enough in your opinion?
Yeah,
Wuziqi? Wuziqi?
I mean, it's like the first one is it's quite
Wu?
tough. Like you have to
Five.
say Wuziqi.
Wuziqi. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. People in China, they understand when I show five. That's not even correct way to show five in China. I remember, but when I say wuziqi and weiqi, then wuziqi. Okay. Anyways, it's everybody knows it. Everybody knows Renju, and people recognize even now when Mr. Naue isn't the main organizer anymore, as I understand. In China, people understand, people recognize, and they remember CCTV, Naue's cooking show, and Gomoku and Renju shows. And they say half of Chinese population recognizes Naue by either his face or the name Naue, which is crazy.
Yeah.
If you look at like how many people are in China, half
Yeah.
recognizes the guy who was the big boss of Chinese Gomoku and Renju for a decade or 2 decades.
Yeah. So, what would you want to know about my opinion about China or?
Yeah, Chinese, the contemporary, the modern development in Renju. What do you think we can do to cooperate? If you feel like sharing anything, any insights that you might have, I'm interested.
I think we just need more strong players, to be honest, to compete with them. Like if they see that okay, like every time they go to the tournament, there's not many like players who can compete with them, then they won't send that many players as well.
Yeah.
But when they see that there's like it's not always Chinese players who are winning or Chinese team who is number one, then they might overthink it that it's good for the cooperation of Renju that we can have some international tournaments that are sponsored by Chinese players, not players, but the organizations that's behind all of it. So that's how I understand it. But it's because there are a lot of children who are playing this game as well in schools and everything. So yeah, we need more young players as well. And right now, but of course you cannot just compare Estonia and China because everything you have to just you have to like say it or thousandfold bigger because the population of Estonia is like 1,000 times smaller than China or even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
and that amazes me. That really amazes me that Estonia has been able to produce such a great talent over the last 20 years. Ando and Tunnet. Yeah, those guys. Both multiple time world championships and team world championships. So.
Actually, Ando has won only one team world championship.
Is it only one? All right.
Yeah, but it's just like one is enough for him, I think, because he was really happy to finally get it in 2014 in Taiwan. Because yeah, if you don't actively play, it's really hard to compete with the top players right now. Because like I said before, the theory is constantly changing, and it's hard to. It's even hard for me to keep up with the best players in the world, like in Asia. And yeah, you just need to constantly improve yourself in the game. Otherwise, you will fall behind, and then it's like, yeah, then you're basically like in no man's land. So about Chinese players, I think they have a lot of good players, but it's really hard to say who is the best one all because every tournament is different, and usually most of them I would say, in my personal opinion, maybe it's Sao Dong because he's like usually the most stable one, and he has 2 World Championship titles as well. So it's only that he's like he has 2 Team World Championship titles. I say he was probably the best player of last decade. Because the last decade in 2010 they won a title with China. In 2010 in Tokyo, in Japan, and 2011 he became the first time he became the world champion in Sweden. And then he still continued to get good results in Chinese tournaments. But he made like they won the Team World Championship again for the second time, Chinese team, in 2018 in St. Petersburg, Russia. And then he won, and to finish off the decade, he won his second title in 2019 in Estonian Tallinn. So that's a pretty impressive decade, I think, considering that he didn't participate in all the tournaments. Like sometimes it might be that they consider giving some new players, new strong players who haven't played before, the chance to compete in the World Championship. But then there also might be some time-related issues because he's not. He's like a good player who gets paid, but he doesn't get only paid for playing. He also has to teach younger players as well.
Well, get to teach younger players. So, in a sense, if you can make a living with Komoko and Renju, it's not too bad.
Yeah, of course it's not too bad, but he always wants to go abroad and meet new old friends and new friends, and
yeah,
and it's just a pity, at least in my opinion, if he doesn't get the chance, because I think he should get a chance always get a chance to go abroad. But I don't understand what's always behind it, so it's not maybe the best topic to discuss. But
yeah, I agree. But interesting hear those stories, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to convince Tunnet to be a guest in these sessions at some point. So I'm sure he has some stories and ideas when it comes to China and the development and the players there.
Yeah, because he has been there quite often in the recent years, at least before COVID and everything. And he's been a coach there as well for many years now.
Yeah. Not only being one of the top Renju players in the world, but being a professional coach, paid coach in China. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, so should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. What do you feel like talking? Maybe you can share something about your life to the viewers and to the Renju world. Maybe some viewers, they want to know on a broad level, what do you do? How often do you play Renju, and when and where do you practice on whichever level you like to cover yourself as just a guy from Estonia, not necessarily a Renju player.
Okay, maybe I should start with my age. I'm 32 right now, and then I work in a company called Genius Sports, and it's a pretty interesting company in the sense that I'm not the only Renju player who is working there. It's only both. There are also both Andri and Tauriburg working there, and currently Topkin is also Georg Topkin is working there as well as a part-timer. So, and previously Madli was working there for like close to 9 years, I think.
Yeah.
So I've been working in this company for a little bit over 6 years now. So it's like the time has gone like by like really fast.
And the company is sports betting, right?
We are like intermediate between a customer and a bookmaker.
Okay.
In the sense that we provide all the services for the bookmakers that they need in order to consider themselves as a bookmaker. Like what I do mainly is trade games. That means that I just follow different bookmakers and change the parameters. It might sound boring, but every game is different. So, and I work in the US sports department. That it's like we mainly handle basketball, but it's also baseball and American football.
Which of those sports you like best personally?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's basketball because I might not be a good basketball player myself, but I still like to play and I like to follow NBA the most.
Yeah.
I know a lot of statistics about it, and I watch the results all the time. And my life is not so interesting. Maybe it's like my main hobby is Renju, but I have another hobby that's like I play a game called RuneScape. It's also like, I mean, it's not thousands of years old like Renju, but it's for like an MMORPG. It's quite old. It's like 20 years old now, and I played it for like close to on and off, like close to 18 years now.
Mm-hmm. Any good results there?
I mean, I'm in the world. I'm ranked like in top 4,000 or something like that. But it has a lot of players, like much more than in Renju. So it's still pretty good achievement, I would say.
In Renju ballpark, where you are at the moment, world rating?
I mean, rating-wise, I'm like top 50, but right now my rating is quite low. I mean, last time I had such a low rating was in 2007 after my first World Championship. So
yeah,
I don't think I am a worse player than back in then. I would say I'm much better than I am currently. But the thing is that there are a lot more new players right now than there used to be.
That's
maybe
for sure.
Not, maybe not a lot, but there are definitely a lot of new faces. There are some new faces who are quite strong already. So it's not so easy to keep your rating at 2,400 or not at 2,500, and it's even quite hard for me to keep it at 2,400. Yeah,
even if you win Correspondence World Championship title, that doesn't give you rating points, does it?
Yeah, exactly. It gives me only correspondence rating. Yeah, I mean, if you have one bad tournament, then pretty much you will. I lost in my last tournament. I lost 60 points of rating, so that's quite a lot actually.
That's brutal. All right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
No, I was just wondering when you said that the Genius Sports have employed many Renju players from Estonia. That is a smart move. I'd definitely do that if I was a business run. At some point, maybe I'll get to do. You guys are smart kids, and getting to employ many of you guys are good. Which brings me actually to the initiative of this channel and the community on Facebook, Click of Stones. So you've been following it, you've been part of the Facebook community since the beginning, I suppose. You've been seeing that it was idle for many years, pretty much nothing happened, and now something is happening, and we're testing these streamings, podcasts, maybe some game analyses. So I'd like to hear your feedback and your ideas. I think you've been watching and commenting on the stream chat quite a bit, so would be nice to hear your thoughts. And what would you like this Click of Stones initiative move towards into?
I mean, it depends like how much time you have in your hands. Right now, it seems that you have like decent amount at least.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, maybe we can make this podcast thing like a regular thing, that it's not only you who is the quest, but not who is taking the initiative to talk through with people, but also it would be nice to have it maybe some other people doing it, but
Yeah.
I know it requires quite a lot of the knowledge and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think we should definitely continue with having more quests in the channel, because it's because people are so different, and to see like the best players in the world, what they think about the game and the stories they have to share is like really eye-opening, at least for me.
For me too, and that's the reason we're starting with this format initially. Of course, there are other formats, but like I find it super interesting. I've been following you guys and consider all of you guys who've been guests so far as personal good friends of mine. But at some point, of course, we exhaust the closest friends. So how to keep it on, how to attract new guests, and how to get to see and listen to their approaches to the game. Both games, Renju and Gomoku, and then move it somewhere else and see what kind of longevity we'll get to this, and if people want to consume this kind of content. I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Go on.
I mean that it's just like it's never been done in this format in Renju and Komoku, at least. I don't think so that it has been done before. So it's really interesting for me, at least, to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to mention.
So if we have other ideas besides these sessions where it was like a long form podcast and discussions and interview kind of things, not really interviews, but it's discussion sessions with featuring top players and top organizers. Besides that, we've been thinking, different kinds of content, commenting games, playing games, analyzing at the same time, maybe book reviews. I have one book, Epifanov's book, and his permission to read it out loud and maybe analyze and try to figure out what he's saying and try to make sense. I think that would be and will be interesting to me to make content. I don't know if people like that, enjoy that, but maybe somebody could learn Renju. So his new book, he initially wrote it in Russian, and he has now had it translated into English, but it's not really native English level yet. I'm not claiming I'm native English level either, but I think maybe it could help him if I make some comments whilst reading it out loud on the stream. So that was just an example of different kinds of content, different kinds of formats that this Twitch and the streaming and YouTube can help. And maybe some of these things find out to be interesting for masses as well at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not only like doing those podcasts, but you never know what it will eventually evolve into. Like,
Yeah. If you don't try it, if you don't play around with it, if you don't do the mistakes, you can't really invent anything. And if you have 15 ideas, you can't try them all at once. So you basically you have to start with something. And I had a drive. I saw like, hey, there are tons of interesting people in these communities of Komoku and Renju. I know some of them very well, and I have heard their stories over the years. And I reached out to yourself and few others who have been guests so far. And I asked, would you be willing to try it out somehow? I don't know how, but let's try something. And all of you guys basically said, yeah, let's do it. Which is crazy. I couldn't back out anymore at that point because like if all of you guys said you're silly, nobody will watch this or consume this content, let's not even try, then I wouldn't have tried. But everybody said, yeah, let's do this, let's have a chat, let's see where it goes. So I'm inspired to continue, and I get some good feedback. And some people reach out to me and say, have you considered this or that as a guest? So that is good feedback as well. Write down on the comments on the stream chat if you like to see somebody featured on future sessions or on YouTube as well. Let me know, reach out. How about you, Aivo? Who would you like to see featuring if you could choose anyone?
I think Vladimir Shushkov, because he has like is probably one of the strongest European players there are right now, even right now.
Yeah.
And he's a really interesting person, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. Shushkov would be a good guest.
Okay, I think we can go to the game analyze that I prepared for today.
Yep, let's do that.
Okay, so this is like a opening that or the fifth move that comes from many openings. It's like d6, i6, i3, and also d7. For quite some time, everyone played this seventh move, I mean, after this sixth move. So, but the issue with this seventh is like, if I block like this, then I'm not sure if they prove the win here, because this 12th move was always like, how to say it, like I didn't find win here myself. But now, recently, I found the new. I I found like in Tauta's file. It's called like Tauta's file because it's like a Chinese player who is like not the strongest player in the world maybe, but he's good at correspondence games, and he's like a really big fan of the game. And he's been doing this like theory related file for many years now. It's not it's mainly like about opening game theory that if one fifth move is win, and then it's marked with A and so on. So it's like it used to be only for Sorcerer 8, but now he has put more work into it, and it's also with Dark Witch 10. So it's like a really good file to have, and if anyone who is looking at the stream and don't have it, you can ask me for this file. And
Nice.
I've also like helped him do this file, like giving him some suggestions, like how strong a fifth move is, or something like that. But yeah, in this file there must mark such a certain move, and I managed to prove it as a sure win. So this certain move is interesting because it might sound quite logical, but it has. I mean, there's very few games where it has been tried out actually. So I will show the main variant here only because other ones are maybe a little bit easy. But here's a number as well, like in this corner, that it's like over 100,000 moves to prove this seventh move only.
Wow.
So that's quite a lot of moves, but it's nothing special actually, because the biggest files I've seen with how many moves they are proved in one fifth move is over 1 million. So yeah, you can imagine.
It's a bit.
Yeah, but as you can see, there are moves like this that are so easy to prove.
But then you don't really have too many moves behind them, so it doesn't really count into the big picture.
Yeah, but here the thing is that there's no straight win, so this is the best 8 move because black needs to close it in the bottom area because there's no straight win for black. So now it seems like the position is not so good anymore for black maybe, but the best move is here, and yeah, this 3 leads to a win. So now there's no point in closing it from here because it's really easy win for black. So it's just to play it here, and now if you put something like this, then it's also quite easy win in the sense that black is just too strong. Well, playing this one because now it creates some problems for black, but it still doesn't help white much. Because now the best move white can make, because there are some lines coming from here and here, and it's the best to make a really passive move here with white. So black will just make a logical attack in the bottom corner. And here, what I can say is that there is only one tough move for white, and that's here. No, here, sorry, here. So basically, white is trying to cut off some of the black's lines, and while breaking its own lines, which is quite logical. But black has a really good response here. So I think the most difficult one was here. Let me check. Yeah, here. Yeah. So I'll go a little bit back. So as you can see, there's 1, 2 here. 1 and 2. So either one of these moves would be good block. But if a 3 here, then it just, again, black has too many and white cannot do anything. So it's better to block 20 here. And now black is creating more lines and taking away white's only active line. And yeah, this 25 is quite tricky because it was not so easy to find actually.
Yeah, if that was online Renju class homework for me, I would have given up already like 17 hours ago.
Yeah.
I would just tell myself like no, I haven't found the way.
Yeah, I can understand that, but it's just like the only reason why it took me so long to prove everything here is because there's no direct win for black. So everything is with a pause actually. It's just like black is creating a lot of good moves to win in the future pretty much. So here again, as you can see, there's no threat. But I think the best continuation was something like this.
What do you think are you how confident are you that all those moves are actually like super good, or maybe there is something can be done at some of the moves, because to me it looks like there are many passive like slower moves that are maybe giving some other. If you put Suskov to play against, would he play the same? Would he maybe be able to break that?
I don't think so, because what I try to do when I try to prove this win is I try to find the best, the easiest solution. But but at some point I understood that there's no easy solution, so I just have to go with the flow.
Okay.
And that's what I found here is like pretty much something like that. Okay, now. Of course, there are some other moves that might win here. I'm not sure, but as I said already, is that I try to find the easiest win here. But it just seems to me that there isn't a super easy win anymore. But overall, I think the biggest issue with no, I wouldn't say even it's an issue. It's a problem. Is that all this solved theory is really hard to remember. Because sometimes the moves that there are really illogical.
And sometimes they look like similar but not the same as what you learned before, and you might get messed up on a live game, and if you don't prepare this before, just right before the game, and go look at all those thousands of moves, then how do you recall after a while?
Yeah, I think even for me, I have pretty good memory. I would say even quite excellent memory. It's hard to remember all these variants. Like I have to learn these files. And if I don't learn them for like let's say half a year, then maybe half of it is already gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't matter. It also requires a lot of time to actually memorize all the variants, because there are so many variants there.
How do you approach a tournament, generally speaking, if you're playing an important tournament? How do you prepare for it? How many openings do you go, as Soli mentioned on his session, that he goes into his opponent's background, he tries to get inside their head. and look at what they played, what mistakes they made before, try to exploit. What's your approach?
I mean, my approach is a little bit different. I think I try to prepare more for the variant than for the player itself, because it's nowadays it might be as absurd as it might sound. Is like so hard to find any good information right now about the player. Like, of course, the best information I can find is if I know his nickname in offline games. Then I can watch what he has and so on and so forth. But let's say you are playing against me. Okay, to go through all these games that I said, like I have over 7,000 games. Like, good luck with that.
Easy. And all the variants, all the thing, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even if it's a few hundred games only, it takes a lot of time. So I rather use my previous memory about the opponent and think what kind of impression he has left me. But at the same time, I think the variant I'm going to prepare against him is more important to me, at least.
Yeah, I suspected that based on what I know of you, and like people been describing you behind your back. I'm not saying who is, but generally speaking, people think that you are like a data bank, basically. Like you have such a wealth of theory knowledge in you, and you have done a tremendous job over the last almost 2 decades for memorizing and learning theories and creating theories. So I suspected you would say that the theory-wise and variant-wise approach is like your approach to preparation also.
Yeah, but it's just like I said, there are still some things missing. I mean, in chess, I think it will be quite easy to prepare for an opponent. You just open a database, and all his games are there. But in Renju, it's so hard to find because, like, let's take some strong Chinese player. Also, probably most of his games are not even there.
Yeah.
So.
How do we incentivize? How do we change that for the future?
I mean, I think just like Riff has to do something about it. It's not just like what I can say about it. I can only say that what I can just say is that all the games, all the tournaments that are rated, played with a rated rule, should be input into RenjuNet. And somehow, if it's not possible to put it into RenjuNet, because I know a lot of Chinese players have said to me that that their club or someone didn't allow them to put those games into RenjuNet.
Okay. So maybe
that's big issue at least. I don't know how the things are right now, but I think it's a little bit better right now because players understand that players must understand that their games are not their own property. It's just like all the fans need to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and eventually, like players play because players play, but when they get to a certain level, like your level 7 Dan, and your experience almost 2 decades within the game, then everyone who reaches that level, no matter what the game is, they must understand that they're not just doing it for themselves or for the club. They are doing it for the viewers. So we are actually entertainers. We are serving the community. And that's no matter you play snooker on the top level or you play tennis or whatever game. Even poker players, they are entertainers. Yeah. They are providing entertainment for the masses. And Renju and Gomoku, we are not there yet. We don't have the masses, but we won't get there if people are selfish. I think people would need to, especially the highest level of players, understand that we serve. We fight, yes, but we are making an entertainment and we are educating the people, like the general public, that is. And I think that's where the popularity for the longer growth for the game either comes or doesn't come. And it's the only way, in my opinion. I think for RIF, it is great that we have an organization, head organization there that has certain duties. But I don't think RIF should be responsible for everything alone, because it clearly cannot do that job.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think private businesses, private ventures, some private initiatives can help doing certain parts. I think it's great that RIF is hosting World Championships and there is like a rule governing body for rules, because if individual companies start dictating what rules are the correct rules, I think that's not good. But I think like storing games, if RIF is not doing it well enough, then perhaps that's a question. Maybe some instance, some website, some company can give incentivize those players in China, let's say, to upload games better than RIF does. Just my thought.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's just like I know the issues very well. What is behind it in China when it comes to inserting games, but it's just like it's quite torn between people who want to get the rating and people who don't want to show their games.
Mm.
It's not only, there are many layers of this issue there.
Yeah.
So it's not so easy to solve, maybe. But at least the official biggest tournaments are inserted now, and everyone can see the games right now.
Yeah. That was a great example of game and the level of thinking and level of preparation, level of analysis when it comes to 7Dan. That's really great to see, and great to be able to broadcast that and copy of this recording to YouTube as well for the following generations to see in-depth analysis when it comes to the very top of Renju. Do you have any other games to show us?
I mean, I can show one more analyze. It's like a little bit about this fork move. It's like with if you play here, it comes from I10 as well, like something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not possible anymore to play with 8 moves. It used to be like I played it many times. Like that's what in Correspondence World Championship last year I played it many games. Like it was 3 games, I think, and I still know that this 5th move is sure win. But if the 4th move is here, then this is bad. It's bad because the reason is quite simple. It's like black will play here and this is not win anymore. No, I mean white will play 6th here and this is not. There's not enough space to win here anymore.
Okay, so the corner makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. And now it means that black will have to play here because this is also bad. I won't go into so much detail. I wanted to show this 5th move. which is like a little bit different from here. No, here it's quite similar. Like there's a shift. So in recent years, it was found out that this is sure win. I don't know if you know about it, probably not, but it's quite interesting because for the longest time they thought that there are a few that there are three fork moves that you can play with Yamaguchi even. This one, and this one. So only this one remains. This is a little bit better for white. But here this is sure win, and here this is sure win. So going back to here, if this is the main 6 move, and now 3 is the only way that you can win here. And yeah, it seems quite logical, but there are quite a lot of tough variants. I will show the main variant here. So this dent is like cutting off one of the lines and making like Black's life miserable in the sense that it's not so easy to win here. Like if you put a bundle here, like make extra pairs, then there's quite a crazy development now. White will go here. And there's no win because it just like, yeah, the best one is here. Now white goes here, and you have to close it from here. So this is quite crazy actually. Like
Yeah. So looks wild.
Yeah, it's. And now the position is more or less balanced already. There's no win for black. So if you try to play the win that comes from the other normal side, so here you have to close it from like this, like this, like this. But there's no space now because white can play here, white can play here, and there's no win because not enough space now for black. So what should black do is actually there is a win, but it's not so easy maybe. This 4 is absolutely necessary right now. And here. So the idea looks pretty simple, and the best defense, the only one that gives black any trouble is 18 here. And now another nice move for black. But I will just check it just in case, like what is the longest variant here. I think there was one that was pretty nice.
Those just joining the Twitch stream, welcome, and don't be puzzled on Aivo seemingly making moves now. He's using another window on top of it to analyze or looking at his preparations and his databases. So I was a bit confused initially. I thought he was trying to make moves on the board, but that's not the case. So.
Okay, I found it. So 20 here. And now it's not good to open it, close it from here with a 3 because it's bad. I need to close it from here. Now the best move is to make a threat with white and while closing some lines. But the continuation now is quite wicked. It's like this 4 is logical maybe because it crosses an important line for white. This is the sure win.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a move that you normally would think first.
Yeah, exactly.
And
But
it's been really nice to see such moves lately by yourself and others visiting sessions. I think it will improve my game definitely to see that kind of moves. And maybe I can incorporate sometimes. How do I make sure that do I have to move whenever I make a move? Do I have to like double check what are the alternatives and question all the time, or can I trust on my intuition if I don't
I
know the
mean,
theory?
it depends how good your intuition is. Like, if you haven't played a long time, then I think you should at least check some ideas and maybe even go further and try to think out of the box a little bit.
Yeah, I think that works for my game. Certainly now I haven't played much at all over the last 10 years. So but maybe looking out of the box is now a little bit easier. And yeah, if do you have anything else you would like to add today?
Oh, I had one topic that I wanted to share. Like you said, if I would share some stories, then it would be interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is more like to get the story is quite controversial. I mean, at least to me.
Okay.
It was like when we won the 2016 Team World Championship. It's about the story what happened in the last round. Basically, there was even a story about it in the newspaper, but it was written from Martin's point of view. So basically, what happened is that we had to face China in the last round, and it was really close competition by that time. It was like if we lose, then we lose the title pretty much. But it's our tactics was like this that we showed Rene, he was the fourth table, Rene Pajuste, how to make a draw against the fourth table. And then me and Martin couldn't do much preparing because I was playing with Ji Guan, who was at the time the world champion, and he opened against me. And then Martin played on the third table. He played Chu Jianfeng, who is also a very strong player. Like he got second place in 2017 World Championship. So 1 year after that, but then Tunet had made an opening against Langeron, but somehow it seemed like Tunet wasn't even there. He made like a silly mistake theory-wise on quite early, and he lost really fast the game. So that was I think that was right in Martin's from Martin's point of view, that our most experienced player lost the game really fast. But what happened in our and Martin's game was that Ji Guan, maybe I can show a little bit of this. I don't remember exactly how it was, but he opened this one with 6.
Okay.
So it's quite balanced even now with 6. But this was with Yamaguchi rule, so I decided to take white. And yeah, the common move that's here after for white is here. The 6th, I mean, that he put all the others are too strong to take as white.
Yes.
So the common theory went something like this. This is like common moves. Like everybody knows them. But where I made my mistake, so to say mistake, was that he played here a bundle. But I didn't know let me check. Maybe, yeah, that there's such a move, that this is the best felt move. I played something else. I don't remember anymore what it was. And the thing is that was in Martin's point of view that
The chat said you played J7, I think, and then
yeah,
I9.
yeah, but this is better
L9.
for
Yeah.
here, L9.
J7 and L9.
Ah, okay. No, this is L9. It should be.
Yes. It's good.
Okay,
It
okay.
was just a lowercase L. I said I9 because that's how I read it.
But this is right now the position is better for black. So what happened is that Qiguan opened this variant, and when Zhu Jianfeng saw that the game was that I made this move instead of this one, he opened as well. But at that time, he had already spent like 1 hour, so he had only 1 hour left. But what the Chinese didn't know about the rules was that you cannot copy other players' move. But that was exactly what Martin was doing. He copied my moves because he was thinking it was the right theory. So in Martin's article, it was written that he beat Zhu Cheng and Qiguan had to take risks against me because if he had won, then China would still have won the game. But what happened is that Martin just copied my moves. At some point, the game was different, turned out differently than my position with Qiguan. But what happened is that in time trouble, Zhu Jianfeng just made a mistake against Martin and he lost. And by that time, my game against Qiguan was already that far that Qiguan had already lost the tempo. And if you lose tempo, like there was some stones in here, and black had almost no stones in the upper area. So if you lose a position, and you lose a tempo in such a position, it means that you are like done already. The best you can get is a draw. So it was I wanted to set the thing straight because even in the it was pretty much the same in the newspaper article. And then I asked about Ants when I asked Ants why it was written like that into the newspaper. Then he just said that it was supposed to be like an interesting read or something like that. So I didn't say anything about it, but yeah, it's like a setting things straight story that it was not also maybe it was right. Really, we got really lucky because I think if the Chinese had said something about that the position has to be in the that me and Martin cannot play in the same room anymore, then they would have to move the table.
Yeah.
Then it would have been even more tense because I couldn't. I was the captain of the team and I had quite a tricky position from the start that I couldn't check what Martin is doing. I was focusing 100% on my own game. And in that case, Martin couldn't have checked as well how I was doing. So the outcome could have been quite different. I mean, we could have one of us could have lost the game and in the end lost the tournament, got the second place, not the first place because of that. But also funny thing was that Epifano was observing our games. And when he came back to the tournament hall, he was sure that China had won the tournament, but that wasn't the case at all. Because in the end, yeah, me and Martin won our games, and yeah, that was it.
That's a nice story. I'm sure you have some nice stories on Helsinki 2008 as well.
Oh, yeah, but that was even luckier because the game wasn't in our own hands anymore.
Yes.
So
I,
yeah,
s-
pretty much.
I see a nice picture. See this? You can see the stream, but
Yeah,
I'm presenting a picture of you guys cheering on the Team World Championships. And that's actually on your RenjuNet profile. So anybody watching this now as a recording or live, go and check out Renju.net and then players and search Aivo all, and you can see some nice pictures as well as his games. You have some over 500 games, recorded games there. So
yeah,
on your profile, and you mentioned on the pre-show that you actually you played more games, more rated games, more RAF games than 5,500, but not all tournaments are there.
yeah. I think a few are missing for sure.
Yeah, that's a bunch of games. That's a lot of games. And you said something that maybe one or two players have even higher number of recorded games.
No, I'm sure there are many actually, but maybe not 100 players, but at least 10 or 20 players who have played the game much longer than I have.
Yeah,
But maybe if there are not that many players who have started in 2000s or and have more games than I do, so that's that's hard to beat. I think that number that I have.
I agree. Good memories. I think I've taken some of these pictures. For sure, some of them are from Helsinki. Long time ago. Good memories.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a positive note, unless you have something else to add. We're closing into 3 hours on the live stream. Really much do want to thank you for sharing us these stories and these game analyses, opening up a little bit about how you view Renju World and Komoku World at the moment. It's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend, and also like to thank people who typed something in for the stream chat. Go and make sure that you have clicked the follow on Twitch and YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. It will help the channel a whole lot if you do so. And yes, thanks so much, Aivo, for today's chat.
Thank you for having me, Jussi, and maybe after some time we will have enough topics again to have another session, maybe, or something different.
Absolutely, and as I said earlier, all of the guests so far, I look up to so much as a player, and I would really like to have a sneak peek into more of the game analysis in the future. So if you have time, if you're interested in continue building this to somewhere, maybe Click of Stones game analysis or Click of Stones game analysis, live games or online games or offline games. Once the games are going, then maybe do some commentary on online games or live events. I think of so many different ways to create interesting content. But I think, as a player introduction and show off and lifting players and featuring prominent players, I think it's a good way to start this, right? And now at least the world has a some idea of who you are as a person and as a player, and we can build on top of that.
Yeah, exactly, and I couldn't have said it much better than you did just right now.
So once again, thank you. Thanks for the viewers, and do let me know what you think of anything. All right. Thanks, and see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.